Africa, this is so interesting. I've got Rinelo at home. He's 7 years of age. He's listening. And guess what? We also have Churufacho. How old is Churufacho?
He's 6.
He's 6.
Oh, he's 5'10". He's 6.
Okay.
Yes.
So at some point, we're just going to have a launch where we're playing cash flow quadrants. Churufacho, Rinelo, they'll all be here. In Africa, you're going to send your kids. We play cash flow quadrants. We play Monopoly for one whole day. Moms, you just bring the sons here. Only daddies will take care of the sons and daughters. Okay? We have property. We teach them property the whole day. Ice cream and games. That day, Mashilo. I think you like the idea. You can't stop smiling.
No. It's the idea of a monopoly. Because, I mean, we played Monopoly.
Yes,
it's just it's a game. I mean, it's Monopoly, it's a game. We do it all the time.
Yes.
But Monopoly, it's also a game played by, and there's a reason why Monopoly is played by both kids and adults.
Yes, sir.
And Monopoly, it's like chess. It's a strategy game.
Yes.
I had a friend at varsity who we could play Monopoly for hours. I mean, every time I play Monopoly, his name is Pet Page. Yeah. And every time we play Monopoly, if we play it in less than 4 hours, I know that we haven't played. So we play it for hours.
Yes.
So, and sometimes that's how you learn. I think some of these things can be able to teach us how things work.
Yes.
Monopoly is a strategy game.
Yes.
It can
From
teach you a lot about
developing the land.
It can teach you a lot about being streetwise, being able to transact.
Raising taxes. If you play it properly, not...
You play it properly. it can teach you how to trade.
That's correct.
How to trade.
That's correct.
So and then in trading in the property sector, it's very important.
Yes, sir.
Knowing how to transact.
Yes, sir.
So, Ndaden Chabeli was saying earlier on about the difference between how we treat consumption and an investment.
Yes, sir.
The idea of being, and I'm going to introduce an idea, okay. and I hope you take along. The idea of being investable. It's a very important thing. There's an investment, then it's being investable. Now, it sounds technical.
Yes, sir.
But what it is, and I'll use the skills development as an example.
Yeah.
So if we both go to the same university, do the same course, sit in the same desk, but when you go dancing at a nightclub, I go work part-time.
Yes.
When we graduate, we have the same degree. You probably, let's say you got a distinction, I didn't.
Yeah.
I got a 50, my daughter score.
Yeah.
I was able to pass through. Because I added a juice into my qualification, I become marketable.
Lovely.
Better than you who had a distinction. So an employer is probably much more amenable to employing me more than the other person who has a good pass, because I'm marketable.
He might even work for you.
Exactly. He might even come and work for me.
Yeah.
So the idea of us educating ourselves should be premised on us being marketable.
Yeah.
So, but because we are talking investment, is whatever we engage in, is it investable?
Yes.
To an extent that, does it create value?
Yes.
Whether for yourself or for other people. Because it becomes very important.
And should you want to sell as well, you must also
should you want to sell
into consideration.
So we're talking about people who come here and they sell wealth.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure everybody can sell wealth, and with no disrespect for those people that are selling wealth. But we as people, we get a call all the time when people says, do forex, do this, do that, do this. The basics is you need to understand that you are buying into.
That's correct.
That's the first thing.
Yes.
The second thing is that you're buying into, you don't understand what's the value that you're trying to extract.
That's correct.
Are you trying to earn an income? Are you trying to get long-term capital growth?
Yes.
What is it that what you're trying to get to?
Yeah.
So it becomes easier if you have an investment goal in mind.
Yes, sir.
That you can't be cheated.
Yeah.
Because you have a criteria to assess everything else that sits in front of you. You're able to say, this thing that is being put in front of me, my criteria is Mashilo, right? It will be different from the doctor.
Yes.
Because he would have a different criteria. My criteria would say, okay, it must have a yield, and a yield as a return. It must have this, it must have that. If it meets that criteria, then I'll put my money in. For the same product, he might not put his money in. Because his interest might not be a yield or a cash flow generation or whatever. It might be, I want to build a long-term portfolio.
So
he might say, no, that doesn't suit me.
That's true, actually.
So the fact that something worked for somebody else, it doesn't mean automatically it will work for you. The fact that property is a good investment,
yes, sir,
it doesn't mean automatically it's a good investment for all of us.
Yes, sir.
But what you need to do when you have to play the game, as we say, understand where in the game you want to play.
Yes.
Because property is vast.
True.
So at a simple basic level is to be able to say, do I want to play in a residential space? That means I'm playing in the home space. Or do I want to play in the non-residential, means I'm in the commercial space?
Yes, sir.
And I'll stick to the home space because majority of people understand it.
Yeah.
Even in that space, I need to be able to say, do I develop new houses? Or do I refurbish houses? Or do I build back rooms?
Yes.
Or do I? So you still have a variety of choice.
Yes.
So the playing field is so vast that you need to educate yourself to understand, out of this vastness of the play, which is the slice of my cake that I need to take.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. So this uncomfortable conference that I said I went to, and then I created the discomfort, is this sugar business. Maybe I must start eating sugar. I must start, is this sugar business? It's a question that I raised, right? And I'm passionate about that question, is to say, and it's a question that comes from what else?
Yeah.
What do I mean by what else? Is we all need jobs.
Yeah.
It's a priority of everybody else to create jobs.
Yes, sir.
But people are not jobs. People live their lives. And then I'm a child of economics, so there's something called Maslow's law of needs.
Yes.
So at the moment, the headache that you're solving is jobs. Let's make a simple assumption and say, let's assume tomorrow we create the jobs we want.
Okay.
Those people now earn an income. They're going to solve their first headache. Their first headache is, I need food.
Yes.
I'm hungry. My kids need to go to school. They solve that.
Yeah. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The very base of
But what happens after they've solved their food problem?
Yeah.
They can't buy food for the rest of their life.
No.
So what's the next level? The next level is shelter.
Shelter, that's correct.
But shelter is property.
Yes.
So in between telling people that they must get jobs and finding jobs is to be able to say as well. So you don't educate a person when they are already in school.
Yeah.
It sounds controversial, and I'll help
In fact,
myself.
I'm listening so that I can understand.
You don't educate a person when they're already in school. Because education, there's an academic part of education, which is reading books and education.
That's correct.
But there's a learning part of education.
Okay. That
So
is
when you say we don't
practical.
educate a person when they're in school, it means that the learning doesn't happen generally in class.
Yes.
Yes, the books happen in class. But the majority of the stuff that people take on in life is the learning.
Yes.
Not the book. I mean, most of us, even ourselves here in this studio, probably we don't even remember. If I ask you, what did you do in your first year? You have no cooking clue. But if I ask you what you learned in the first year, you're probably even going to tell me what your lecturer was wearing.
I hear you.
But you don't remember what your formula you're doing.
Well
Why?
said, well
It's
said.
because we grow out of lessons and learning as opposed to, and that's the trick, to say, what are the things? Now, and property is very tricky. We said it's 5.8 trillion worth of industry.
That's correct.
Majority of the time we have a conversation around 1 trillion, which is
Yes.
the commercial sector. So if you read papers, if you read 9 out of 10 talks about the commercial sector.
Yeah.
The indexes that we build, the value chain that we talk about, majority of the time is benchmark against commercial sector.
And most people, it's dololo. They don't understand that language.
It's too complex.
Yes.
It's too far.
Yes.
The example that we made, we're saying our picture of ownership in property says, I want a corporate building in Sandton.
Yeah.
So if that's your picture, believe you me, I'm still here. I don't have a corporate building because it's a far dream
Yes.
to reach. It doesn't mean it can be reached. And there are many other black people who have reached it.
Yes.
But for me and you, we need to be able to say, how do I get to that dream? Now, we can take companies, the listed funds, let's say Riboses.
Yeah.
Sisangebula. Where did he start? He started by...
Even Dipula, I mean, it's yours.
Even Dipula.
Yeah, why
Understand?
not?
So, where did they start, all of these people? They didn't wake up one morning and they own a portfolio, they own a building.
That's correct.
Right?
Sir.
Well, can I chip in?
Yeah, sure.
We're doing exactly what you're saying. So we're starting with residential, and when each of the 6 groups will have 20 properties each, we will be venturing into mini malls, still a secret, so please don't sell it out.
Yeah.
Mini malls in smaller towns everywhere in South Africa.
Beautiful.
That's our goal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because that's how you eat an
And
elephant.
you are with the leader here, the
Exactly.
mentor. Yes. So
How do I mean the question that gets asked is how do you eat an elephant?
Yes.
You eat it in chunks.
that's
it.
correct. One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Otherwise, it's more free.
Otherwise, it will harm. So the easiest way. We're trying to work on now I'm punting.
Yeah.
We're trying to work on if there was a book that I read, and we're trying to work on something to say, if we can take all of these advice and compile it, and I'll invite you to compile it into a book and says, what are the best advices in property that you can get? One of those is eat it in small chunks.
Yes.
What do we mean by small chunk? And it's if you can buy your first property,
Yes, sir.
try and go buy the second one.
Yeah.
If you can buy a second one, buy the third one. By the time you realize it, you have a portfolio.
That's correct.
Now, generally our first properties are home.
Yes. Yes.
And if that's the point, then find a way to say, can I afford the next property? The question that we ask ourselves is always say, can I afford the next car? Because most of us buy 2 cars. I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying 2 cars. I mean, we as a family own 2 cars. But one of the reasons for that is because it's an economical thing. It's about the structure of South Africa.
Yeah.
You know, you live there, your work is there, you have to commute, and that commuting it becomes a problem. But if you theoretically think about it and say, and I like the idea about holding on to your car for a very long time, is if I can hold on to my car a slightly bit longer, paid off. The amount that I was paid, remember a car I paid up over 5 years. I buy a car of, let's say, I don't know, people buy expensive car. I don't drive an expensive car, I drive a very cheap car. It's about 100.
Mine just.
So I'm saying
mine just look expensive. It's 7 years old. Okay, so I want
me and you,
I want to rub off that one.
Me and you are in the same.
And
if you get stuck, I'll come push you.
and I have 360,000 kilometers on the clock. I'm not even thinking of changing it.
So you're not worried with the motor plane, what?
No,
those
no,
things
no,
that don't
no,
affect you.
No.
That car is a big car. It can drive for as long as you.
Tune in to Africa Business Radio on www.africabusinessradio.com. Find us on Facebook, Africa Business Radio, and on Twitter, Africa Biz Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
This property show feature is brought to you by the following entities: Dimza Homes, Property Sector Charter, Superstar Strategies, Tebo BLK Consulting, Mato Lafitte and Associates Incorporated, Mafenu Pora, Emerson Pasha, Hemensal Seku, Frank Kunene, Kabelo Marake, Moriane Mapaya, Me Maureen, Kumo Didira, Katla Humolefe, Tabo Mashihwane. For more information on these entities, visit our online property show magazine.
Africa, you know what? We cooking something here. We brewing, and young the youth of South Africa, we brewing something. Most of you are going to have jobs, but remember, jobs goes with property. It's a basic human need. Okay, it's food, shelter, clothing, of course, but don't buy expensive stuff. Just buy enough, but spend more in the knowledge. The more knowledgeable you are, the more marketable you are. But if you're wearing all these big labels, unfortunately, fashion, but you're not marketable. Tate Mashilo, I got that from you.
I still want to walk in the street.
So as we're wrapping up, what else do you want to say? What did you have for us? What was in your heart?
Look, we've got big challenges.
Yes.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
We only in this sector we are not even in the middle age.
Yes, sir.
If you had to take human age, you say 40 is the middle age. We're still in our late 20s. And then, in your late 20s, there's certain things that you worry about.
Yeah.
So I think it's an opportunity for us, for those who are able to make it earlier into the industry.
Yes.
To help everybody else be grounded properly in the industry.
Yeah.
To show them the doors where they need to go. There are organizations that are available. I'm involved with SIBIP.
Yes.
There's organizations that are in the residential sector.
Mm-hmm.
You are involved with other organizations. We are available. So make it an effort that you invest in your knowledge.
Yes, sir.
before you commit yourself into something, because property is one of those that all of us are on the same page in this country. We are still teenagers as far as knowledge is concerned.
And it's the biggest employer, hey?
And it's the biggest employer.
And most real estate agents who are marketers, who just the tip of an iceberg, they think they are all it, eh?
Look,
I know so because I used to think so.
Yeah. So there's how many? I mean, the last we checked, because I also got a relationship with EAB, there was about 40-something thousand.
Yeah, let's just say 46
agents,
for now.
right?
46,000, yes.
Yeah, let's say 46,000.
Yeah.
Now, the last study that was done was 10% of the revenue, and I know not 10, I'm doing that right now. 90% of the revenue goes to 10% of the agencies.
Yeah.
Now that's, you can work out the math.
Yes, I remember, your colleague said 52 billion rent, according to your study, was paid out.
Billion.
But only 40 million went to, by count, 20 estate agents.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's that. So if you work out, so South Africa does how many transactions per annum? Some people say 3.5 million, other people say whatever. So if you can work it out and says, we can give you the number. We can say residential is 3.9 trillion.
Yes. Now,
10% of that transact every year. That means it's about 3.5 million or somewhere, 1% actually, 3.5, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So what if 3.5 transact every year, work out the commission, the average price is 500,000 across the nation. That's how we get to the 52 billion. Then it says, if 52 billion transacted, what is 7% of 52 billion or 5% of 52 billion? Because that's commission.
Yes.
Works out to about, 300 something.
In fact, in this case, just to remind you, the 52 billion was actually the commission.
Then you can work it out from there.
Yes.
You can say if 52 billion was the commission, 90% of that goes to 10% of the industry. What's 90% of 52 billion? Works out to something like 40 billion.
Yes.
Goes to 10% of the industry. Now, in actual, it's not even 10%.
45.
Actually, it's not even 10%. It's 45 entities.
That's correct.
It's not 45. It's 45 entities.
45, yeah.
So the 45 entities out of 46,000 agents, I don't know what's the number.
Yeah.
It's minuscule.
So that's why we need
our role.
Yeah.
And why this number? Why every time I come here I share these numbers? Is because we want to show
the skewness
the
of
listeners and everybody else.
Yeah.
What is the size of the cake?
Yes.
Because even prior to us as black people being introduced to property, only 8%, because most white people is 8%.
Yeah.
Only the slice of the cake that everybody was fighting over was 8%. Everybody believes the market is that slice. So it's like having a party.
Yeah.
And then the cake is in the fridge. They take out the slice, they put all the candles on the slice, and they said, that's the cake for the party. Only find that you are only looking at a slice, but the rest of the cake is in the fridge. So now what we are showing people is to say, here's the rest of the cake.
Yes.
Now let's have a party. That's my message.
I like that. Dr. Nkhumeleni, any last words by any chance? I know you've said it mouthfully, but if by any chance you have something.
Yes.
You can say it.
I'll go back to earning income budgeting as well. If, say, you earn 10,000 a month, your expenses shouldn't exceed 70%. So that is 7,000 should go to your living expenses.
Yeah.
Okay. And out of that, 20% should be paying your debts, or you can save it. And the remaining 10%, which is 1,000 rand, should go into investment.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we are getting our 2,500 from the investment side. But let's go back to the 70%. So 70% major cost will be the house and your car.
Beautiful.
If you buy a cheaper car and a cheaper house, you'll have a lot more left, which also pushes your investment, say, to up to 10%, 15% of your budget.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Dade Mashilo, have you said your last word? Are you closing with something?
I've said my last word here.
Africa, I'd like to thank these two gentlemen. And Africa, all I can say, I don't sleep. I call people. I bring them on studio. Do me a favor. Listen to the podcast. This is the only way I can send the lift to you. Okay? As Dade Mashilo said, send the lift! Just get into the lift. And together, sihambe moyeni. Asindizeni madoda. Let's all fly. Africa, till next week. Bye-bye.